2, Aiden Rivera. Number 12, Cameron Perez. Number 23, Eliza Camacho. Number 1, Jaden David. And number 5, Jaden Feaster. And now the starting lineup for your Fort Lee Bridgman. Number 5, Montazam Al-Hajaji. Number 10, Jake Garland. Number 1, Andrew Nicachori. Number 12, John Amazoglu. And number 3, Jacob Greenberg. Head coach, Josh Ford. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we play the national anthem. Thank you, and good luck to both teams.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome here inside Fort Lee's East Gymnasium, the setting for our last quarterfinal game in the 2025 Jack Riley Holiday Tournament as the host team, the Fort Lee Bridgmen, 2-1 on the season, take on the North Bergen Bruins, 2-1 out of Hudson County. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Long. So glad that you could join us here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. The winner of this game will have a semifinal showdown awaiting them against Old Japan tomorrow at 4:30. The loser will know that they will have a consolation game awaiting them tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. But obviously, if you have any hopes of winning the championship, you want to win this one here. The loser will take on Passaic in that consolation showdown. As that's knocked out of bounds, Fort Lee in their home black uniforms with the orange numerals outlined in white. North Bergen in their road white uniforms with red numerals outlined in gold. Kevin Bianco is the head coach of North Bergen. And Josh Ford, a Bridgman great, class of 2014, in charge of his alma mater here at Fort Lee. Opening possession of this game here for the Bridgmen. Jacob Greenberg. Try to send that one off, and it's going to be deemed an offensive foul against Greenberg. After he tried to dribble drive and get it across the middle of the lane, so he picks up the early foul. Greenberg averages 9.7 points per game, second on the team in scoring. Josh Ford in his second season at his alma mater That pass is tipped and eventually found its way into the hands of Aiden Rivera as it worked around the perimeter here for North Bergen, a team that coming off their first loss of the season. And that find is inside to Elizer Camacho. As Camacho lays it in for the first 2 points of the game, North Bergen leads 2-0. John Avazoglu will get it back up top. As it's worked around into the corner. Andrew Gedjakori will get it back up top. Avazoglu trying to find its way into the hands of Ehrlich. The near side, some contact, but we play on, and a turnover produced by North Bergen. Here's a transition 3 ball that's knocked in from the corner pocket. Jaden Feaster, the recipient of that open look. And it's a 5-0 start for North Bergen. Avazoglu to Ehrlich in the corner. Ehrlich sets and fires, and he has an answer of his own from deep. Jake Ehrlich, the junior, coming off a 6-point performance in Fort Lee's first loss of the season, last time out against Bergen Tech. 5-3 lead. North Bergen attacking the rim, trying to drop it off inside. Ball is loose on the floor. Loose ball tie-up, and it's going to be a jump ball. Possession will stay here with North Bergen. After Jaden David got dirty on the floor with it and was the one that they were initially trying to get it to inside the lane. Into the corner, here's Feaster. Up top to Rivera. Rivera stops on a dime at the foul line. North Bergen, a team that averages 52.7 points per game on offense. Off to a good start here. And that 3, no good. Tipped around. Ball still taken in on the offensive boards by North Bergen. They've just been faster to the loose ball so far in this game. Up top to Feaster. Once again to Cameron Perez. Perez tries to turn the corner on his man. Gets it out to Aiden Rivera to the near side 3. So that long possession is paid off with another triple. The Bruins have sunk 2 threes to start off this game. And they lead Fort Lee 8-3. Avazoglu outletting it to Greenberg. Greenberg's shot got deflected. Fouls his own miss. And that's going to be a blocking foul underneath. And that is a big call, because if Greenberg was charged with the offensive foul, that would have been quickly his second foul of the game. Instead, it's a foul charged against Aiden Rivera. That'll be Rivera's first, and that'll send Jacob Greenberg to the line to shoot a pair. And he misses on the first foul shot attempt. Jacob had a season-high 16 points in a win against Paramus to start off the season on the road. This is the first home game of the season for Fort Lee here at home. As Greenberg goes 1 of 2 at the line, gets his first point of the evening, and pulls Fort Lee back to within 4 at 8-4. Tie up, and that is taken away. A steal produced by Ehrlich. Ehrlich going coast to coast with a left-hand lay-in. Jacob Ehrlich with 5 of Fort Lee's first 6 points of the evening. And the lead is trimmed down to 2 for North Bergen. That time the ball was lost, but still recovered by North Bergen. Straightaway 3 by Camacho, no good. Tipped around, and again North Bergen just bedeviling Fort Lee on the offensive glass. Leads to the corner, 3-point shot to the near side, no good that time by Cameron Perez. Tried to aim that one and is tipped out of bounds. Last touched by North Bergen. Fort Lee down by 2, 8-6. Gedjakori will inbound it. Greenberg takes it along to the near side, weaving through traffic, drops it down low inside. There's the lay-in. And El Aji will get his first 2 points here for Fort Lee. Pin ball around. It's 8-8 the score. And a turnover forced there by Fort Lee, as that's going to lead to the foul against North Bergen. So the foul was whistled that time against Camacho of North Bergen. That'll be his first personal foul. That'll be the third team foul here against the Bruins. 8-8. North Bergen is led by as many as 5 on a pair of occasions. And a shuffling of the feet that time by Ehrlich will lead to the turnover. .354 left to go here in the first. And that's going to be a blocking foul whistled against Greenberg, and that'll be his second personal foul. So Jacob picked up the 2 quick fouls here. He'll have to take a seat for head coach Josh Ford. Long range 3, and that one hits the front rim, that time by Aiden Rivera. Rivera has 1 3 in this game. Had 26 points and 3 threes knocked in a loss recently against Union City. That mid-range jump shot is no good that time, as Fort Lee was trying to take the lead. Della Saidi was the one who was trying to get that go-ahead jump shot. As again, Fort Lee has to go to their bench. Mark Ilya into the game as well, number 2. And that time, the 3-point shot knocked in by Camacho. Third 3 of the game here for North Bergen in the first quarter. They lead Fort Lee 11-8. Saidi on the baseline, hook pass inside. Trying to find Ilya. Put it on the floor, though. That led to the turnover. Rivera trying to muscle his way through the contact. And the foul is going to be whistled on the floor. Another foul against Fort Lee. That'll be the 3rd team foul and the first personal foul against John Avazoglu. Cameron Perez will check off for a breather here for North Bergen, who lead 11-8. Right off the inbound, wide open look for 3, no good by Rivera. Fort Lee was fortunate there as the best shooter for North Bergen was left all by his lonesome. Ehrlich sets and fires from deep, no good. Tipped around and an offensive rebound secured. Sadie did a nice job there. Here's Avazoglu, contested 3, no good. Ehrlich skying high for the offensive rebound. Ehrlich will cough it up as possession goes out of bounds. A couple of the players pushing and shoving with one another. And Ehrlich has to be separated there. Fort Lee will be given possession here. That's a bit of a break, as it looked like it was last touch off of Ehrlich. Ilya getting it back up top to Ehrlich. Ilya, mid-range jumper, contested, is short inside the lane, goes out of bounds. And it looks like it's going to be last touch off of Fort Lee, so possession back over to North Bergen. North Bergen doing a great job of defending against Fort Lee so far in this one, making life very difficult for the offense for the Bridgemen. 11-8 lead for North Bergen. Coming up in the final 90 seconds of the first. And Ehrlich contending at the rim. The first shot no good. Follow-up is also no good. And a rebound there for Fort Lee as the Bridgemen try to break out the pack the other way, but they turn it right back over. Sadie was the one who was trying to get it down to his teammate, Al-Hajaji, and could not get it in time. And then again, it's going to be a whistle and a stoppage here with 1:14 left to go. Little helter-skelter in terms of the course of play right now. So it's a turnover here for North Bergen. Zoglu stepped up his pivot foot and he turns it over. And Fort Lee is just out of control right now in terms of having no semblance of just composure. Simple things there, like not even the full court of pressure was being extended, but it's just the attention to details right now as Fort Lee is struggling to just convert. 11-8 the lead. Worked around into the corner. Rivera, pump fakes. Two different defenders fly at him. 50 seconds and counting left to go here in the first quarter. Around the perimeter it goes for North Bergen, leading by 3. Low scoring first quarter, only 19 combined points between the two teams. Rivera has 3 points. Into the corner it goes. Perez, fastball pass, too hot to handle for his teammate as he was trying to get it inside of Max Rodriguez. A turnover there for North Bergen. Avizoglu will hand it off to the far side. Getchikori. Andrew Getchikori gets it into the corner. Here's a 3-ball, and that time Fort Lee converts. Sidey with the 3-point shot in the corner. There's a long-range shot by Rivera to beat the buzzer, just off the mark. And we are tied at 11-all after the first 8 minutes of action as we head now to the start of the second quarter as you're watching all this exciting action of the 2025 Jack Riley Holiday Tournament, courtesy of these proud sponsors of Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics. Fort Lee rallying there at the end of the quarter to tie this one up at 11-11. A lot of turnovers between both teams in that first 8-minute span. Both teams 2-1 on the season. Trying to advance to play Ultapan in tomorrow's semifinal at 4:30. The loser will take on the Passaic Indians in the consolation game at 1:30 tomorrow here at East Gymnasium. Dan Long, so glad that he could join us here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Cameron Perez getting it over to Aiden Rivera. Rivera, a prolific scorer, averaging 18 points a game so far this season for North Bergen. Camacho, who had 5 points in that first quarter. Rivera playing a game of catch with Camacho. Here's Camacho again, short, but Cameron Perez once again stalking the offensive rebounds. North Bergen has been dominating in terms of the offensive glass so far in this game. Into the corner, here comes Rivera. He got contacted, no call, and no good on the 3-point shot. Rebounded by Ilya inside. Fort Lee with a chance to take the lead. Getting right to the rim and misfiring that time. Fight for the loose ball, and players are getting after it here in the course of this game. This is a physical contest. And a timeout is going to be granted to Coach Josh Ford as he sees this helter-skelter kind of pinball affair, more reminiscent of a football game going on right now in the hardwood. Not to his liking as he wants to take a timeout and talk things over with his side. I'd like to thank all of our proud sponsors that help us bring you the sights and sounds of Fort Lee Athletics, as well as this 2025 Jack Riley Holiday Tournament, the Fort Lee PBA, Cafaso's Fairway Market, the Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, Bruson and Daru Electric, Bridgman Basketball Camp, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me, Connect One Bank, Bergen Black Sox, Senator Builders, UCS Strength and Speed, the Collective Salon, and the Fort Lee Education Association. And right out of the timeout, a turnover produced by North Bergen. So that is the last thing that Coach Ford would have wanted after using one of his timeouts, to see his team cough it over right back immediately. And that time, lurking underneath was Aiden Rivera. Everyone lost the count of where number 2 went. He just stuck underneath the rim for the easiest of lay-ins. He's got 5 here in the first half. Ilya across the middle of the lane. And he loses possession. Another turnover produced by North Bergen. They have sped Fort Lee up considerably in this first half. Corner 3, no good. But again, look at all the hustle inside. It was Cameron Perez, the senior guard, who got to it initially and then eventually got it over to his teammate Jaden David. And Fort Lee is just being out-hustled right now on the glass. Al-Hajaji was the one who picked up the foul. That'll be his first, team's first of the second quarter. 6:08 left to go in the first half. Ejikori was defending against Rivera. Camacho. Ehrlich watching him. Feed inside to Perez. Back to Camacho. And Camacho's 3 was no good. Saidi with the rebound. Saidi took an extra step and got away with it. No traveling violation that time. A little bit of a push off there to create a little separation. Ilya, nice move on the baseline, but he just couldn't get the layup to go, but he chases down after it. Tried to deflect it off of a North Bergen player before going out of bounds himself, but he kept it in the course of play, and North Bergen will now take advantage and take over on offense. 13-11. This has been a rock fight of a game between these two sides. Very physical, a lot of defense, a lot of turnovers, not a lot of points. Our last quarterfinal of the day and the last spot in the semifinals on the line for the victor, as the defending tournament champs Old Tappan await the victor tomorrow at 4:30. Old Tappan victorious over Passaic in our first game of the day. Randolph just advanced on the opposite side of the bracket in the semifinals after defeating Memorial, a team that North Bergen beat by 2 earlier this season. Patient offense here against the zone look for Coach Ford and Fort Lee. And there's going to be a traveling violation on top of the key, that time against Jaden Feaster. And that'll give possession back over to Fort Lee. And Jacob Greenberg is back onto the floor for the Bridgman as he's playing with 2 personal fouls. He picked up both fouls in the first quarter. He has really not been a factor in this game so far. Here's Ehrlich. Back to Ehrlich, had another man in the corner. Didn't get it to Avazoglu just in time. He's looking for an outlet, and he doesn't find it, and it leads to the eventual traveling violation. Another turnover for Fort Lee. Again, the Bridgmen, their first 3 games were all on the road, at Paramus, at Bergen Field, and at Bergen Tech. Last game, a 48-30 loss in Hackensack against Bergen Tech. Fort Lee trying to bounce back and win in their first game of the tournament, something they have not done in a couple of years. Shot from the outside, and that triple is knocked in. A 3-point shot by Daniel Maldonado. Another 3 for North Bergen. They've connected on 4 threes in this game. 16-11 lead. Ties their largest lead as Ilya will muscle his way to the rim and draw the contact and the foul, and will head to the line for 2 shots. Mark Ilya, a junior, averaging 9.3 points per game, had 7 points in the last game against Bergen Tech. Nothing but net. Nice looking foul shot release there for the junior big man. Had 16 points in the win against Paramus. Last season, Fort Lee lost 2 games in this tournament by a combined 3 points. As Ilya goes 1 of 2 at the line. 16-12. The lead for North Bergen. 3.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Rivera, the right-handed dribble, getting it back up top. Jaden David. Feaster, pump fakes. Worked around. Here's Rivera for 3. No good. Greenberg trying to get the rebound, got fouled in the process that time as Jaden David collided with him. That'll be the first personal foul against Jaden David in this game, the 6'1 senior. Here's Jacob Greenberg. Into the corner, Ehrlich sets and fires, no good. Trying to get his second 3 of the game. Ilya once again was trying to save it back in bounds. Excuse me, that time it was Sadie. Inside, deflected. Ilya leads to the turnover. Trying to drop off pass to Ehrlich, could not convert. Leads to the 2-on-1 break the other way, and that's going to be a missed layup attempt for North Bergen. That should have been a gimme. It leads to a 2-on-1 the other way for Fort Lee, and they cash in. Ivazoglu in transition, his first 2 points of the game, and the lead is shrunk to 2 for North Bergen. 16-14, coming up on 2 minutes left to go in the first half. David was running out of control there, and a great timeout called by Kevin Bianco. He saw a turnover about to happen, and he saves possession for his team. 16-14 left to go here in the first half as Fort Lee trails against North Bergen. (16-14) North Bergen in front by 2 with 1:59 left here in the second quarter. Jake Ehrlich, the leading scorer for the Bridgemen of Fort Lee with 5 points. Lazar Camacho with 5 points for North Bergen. Get it in front to Aiden Rivera, who also has 5. Here's a 3 from the near side, and that 3 is knocked in by Jaden Feaster. He's got a game-high 6 now after hitting on a pair of 3s. Big timeout taken by Coach Bianco, saved possession, and then they score 3 out of the timeout. And that's going to be an offensive foul whistled against Fort Lee. Al Hajaji just muscled his way right into the chest of the defender. More of a football move there, and he gets called for the foul, his second personal foul. Closing into the final 90 seconds of the first half, a very low-scoring first half at that. 19-14 lead for North Bergen. Ehrlich trying to stay with Feaster. Feaster got around him, but then got the shot blocked. Here's the outlet, and that's going to be a personal foul reach in by Aiden Rivera. As Rivera trying to force that turnover initially. And the North Bergen fans are not happy with what's going on here. Things are starting to ratchet up here emotion-wise between these two sides, too. See a little woofing going on between players. Greenberg being hounded on the near side, got away from the first defender, missed on the first shot attempt, fouled his own miss, and he tried to bank it in. And a hard-nosed play by Jacob Greenberg will send him to the foul line for a chance at 2 at the charity stripe. But again, things are getting very physical between North Bergen and Fort Lee. And the officials are being charged with trying to keep this one level-headed between the two teams. Again, a lot of talking in between plays as well. As Greenberg misfires on the foul shot, he's 1 of 3 at the line here in the first half. This has a feeling of a tournament final rather than a quarterfinal game. Each team trying to impose its will on their opponent. Fort Lee has struggled to produce points. Greenberg with his second point of the game. He's 2 for 4 at the foul line. Fort Lee has only scored 4 points in the second quarter, yet only trailed by 4. 19-15, 1 minute left to go. There's a steal produced by Fort Lee. Sadie feeding Greenberg. Greenberg to the rim and lays it in. Defense leading to offense. Jacob Greenberg now with 3 unanswered points. He's got 4 in the half. 19-17. Greenberg's got to be careful and not commit a foul. As North Bergen trying to get it along the baseline to the near side. Give and go inside the lane. Shot no good that time. Missed opportunity for North Bergen. As Fort Lee will throw it out of bounds, and we have seen countless number of turnovers here for the Bridgemen in the first half when they've been rushing to do a little too much. That time, again, it wasn't even the full court pressure that turned them up a bit. 29.6 seconds left to go. Ortiz was the one who had a glorious opportunity inside the lane a moment ago when he misfired for North Bergen. They lead by 2. Drive and dish off to the near side to Rivera. Rivera being bodied up by Sadie. And that'll be the 3rd team foul against Fort Lee, so they still have a foul to give before it gets to the bonus. Sadie with a foul, that is his first. 8.2 seconds left to go in the half. Rivera working around to Perez. Into the corner it goes to Feaster. Feaster back to Perez. 3 on the shot clock. Here's the drive across the middle of the lane. Cameron Perez with a lay-in finish just before the buzzer sounded. And that will extend the lead for North Bergen as they will take that advantage of 4 points into halftime, 21-17 here at East Gymnasium. Stick around as we'll be back for the start of the second half of play as you're watching the 2025 Jack Riley Holiday Tournament in this final quarterfinal of the day between Fort Lee and North Bergen. North Bergen on top by 4. Welcome back, everybody, inside East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee High School as we're moments away from the resumption of play in the start of the second half. North Bergen leads Fort Lee by a score of 21-17. It was tie game after the first 8 minutes, 11-11, and then a very low-scoring second quarter that saw 16 combined points between the two teams. North Bergen outscoring Fort Lee 10-6 in that second quarter, including that Cameron Perez running layup just before time expired. Taking a look at the stats from the first half of play. Leading scorer for North Bergen, Jaden Feaster, 6 points on a pair of made three-pointers in that first half for the Bruins. And then Fort Lee on the other side, led by the 5-point effort of Jake Ehrlich, scoring all 5 of his points in that first quarter of action. Both of these teams 2-1 on the season. The winner will advance to take on Old Japan, the defending tournament champions, in tomorrow's second semifinal that'll be played here at East Gymnasium at 4:30. The loser of this game will take on Passaic in the second consolation game tomorrow at 1:30. Dan Long, so glad he could join us. Fort Lee in their home black, North Bergen in their road white. As Mark Ilya will get the start in the beginning of the second half, and Fort Lee turns it over right away. Turnover bug has bitten Fort Lee early and often in this one. They have been sloppy with the basketball, and North Bergen, that's what they want to do. They want to ramp up the pressure and make you turn it over. Despite all that, Fort Lee is only down by 4, 21-17. As now, Fort Lee with one of their players is down hurt on the far side. It looked like it was Ehrlich just knocked down to the ground. I don't know what happened there. He was trying to chase after someone, and I think he was pleading his case with one of the officials. And looks like Ehrlich's going to be sent off the floor. Sadie will come on for him momentarily. Ehrlich is frustrated, saying that he got pushed in the play, and that's why he was hurt and was slow to get to his feet. Ehrlich and Jaden David have been going at it a couple times in this game. So we'll stay in possession here with North Bergen as they run a weave. Here's Aiden Rivera, 5 points in that first half. Again, he averages 18 points per game for the Bruins. And that's going to be a traveling violation once again up top for Jaden Feaster. Feaster has turned it over a couple of times trying to make a quick move before establishing the dribble. So each team turns it over on their opening offensive possession of the second half. Remains a 21-17 lead for North Bergen. Ivazoglu got away with a carry. Inside, it's Greenberg, and Greenberg gets right down the middle, but they're going to wipe off the bucket, and they're going to say an offensive foul, and Cameron Perez, a sheepish smile as well. I think he knew that he got the benefit of a call there, as Greenberg gets called for another offensive foul, and now Jacob has 3 fouls in this game. That is a tough call, and again, sometimes better be lucky than good, and that's where Perez was very happy and a little sheepish with a smile there after getting the benefit of that call. Here is the aforementioned Cameron Perez, a senior who's been part of this tournament throughout the course of his career. We've seen him and Aiden Rivera inside East Gymnasium all these years. And here's Perez launching the 3, no good. Camacho tried to hook that offensive rebound out to space, but there was no teammate lurking on that far side. North Bergen has won their last 2 meetings with Fort Lee in this tournament. They won in 2022 and then again in 2023. They met in the 2022 final with North Bergen emerging as the tournament champions. 64-54 that year. Meeting in the first round here, and Greenberg, despite picking up that 3rd foul, was not shy there about getting to the rim again. He gets that turnover and he gets the lay-in, and now it's another turnover forced against North Bergen. 21-19 the deficit facing Fort Lee. Both teams can't get out of their own way so far in this game. Here's Greenberg. 6-point performance by the senior. Try to find his teammate Evazoglu in the corner. Al-Hajaji was open on that block. They now get it to him inside against the smaller Perez, and Al-Hajaji just muscles his way up and good. His second made field goal, and the game is tied at 21-all. North Bergen is yet to score in the second half as that is knocked out of bounds to the near side. Out of bounds, 5:28 left to go in the third, 21-21. North Bergen connected on 5 threes in the first half. Fort Lee only has made 2 in this game themselves. They've been doing more of their damage inside the lane and in the paint. Maldonado across the lane. Here's Rivera setting and firing again, halfway in and out, no good. Fort Lee with a rebound, and now a chance for the Bridgemen to take the lead. Here's Greenberg, top of the key, watched by Feaster. Feaster hounding him. Greenberg weaving his way inside the lane, and once again trying to muscle his way through. He's got to be careful. He's playing with 3 fouls. Rebound by North Bergen, bringing it down the other way. Camacho leaving it off to Rivera. Al-Hajaji now extending the defense. Feaster. Across the lane, here's Rivera. Rivera got contacted, but no call. He definitely got clipped there. Fort Lee benefiting with a no call, and then Greenberg the other way. Jacob Greenberg with 8 points, and now Fort Lee has taken the lead. Rivera will take advantage of playing a little possum down the other way, and now it's 23-23. As things are getting heated in the stands as well, the North Bergen faithful have made the trek here. Not happy with the lack of a call on the other side, and they might have had a case as it looked like Rivera did get clipped when he was unleashing that 3. Here's Sadie looking to create a little separation. It is physical, and Evazoglu gets fouled on his way up by Jaden Feaster. .402 left to go, again in a game that has more of a feel of a tournament final than even this opening round game. John Evazoglu will head to the foul line, the sophomore who averages 7 points a game. Missing on the first foul shot attempt. He's still stuck on 2 points in this game. Fort Lee scored only 6 points total in that second quarter, yet trailed only by 4 heading here into the second half. Evazoglu will make 1 out of 2. He's got 3 points in the game. Fort Lee in the lead again by 1, 24-23. Rivera getting it over to David. Around the horn it goes. Wide open look for 3 by Maldonado. Daniel Maldonado knocks in the triple, his second made 3 of the game. North Bergen back in front by 2, 26-24. Where will the response come from for Fort Lee? Evazoglu out of control, throws it away. Here's a look from 3 for North Bergen, no good. And a rebound, Gejikori. Greenberg, again right to the rim and no good. Tipped around to the rebound, taken in by Camacho. Aiden Rivera off to the races down the other side of the floor. Pair of Bridgemen waiting at the scores table, getting ready to, getting set to check back in. Maldonado. And that's going to be a foul whistled and a little bit of a push there at the end. And is this going to be a potential foul whistled afterwards? No, it looks like it's just going to be a warning between the official and the couple of players, as it looked like Maldonado pushed Ilya right at the end of that play and did not get hit with a technical. Ilya will get called for the foul. They said that he kind of leaned over Maldonado, who was trying to get that shot up, rather than going straight up and going vertical with a block. First foul shot by Maldonado is no good. Daniel Maldonado, the sophomore, who averages 3.7 points per game with 6 points here in this one. A pair of three-pointers in this game. North Bergen is connected on 6 threes. Big reason why they are in the lead. Going 1 of 2 at the foul line. Maldonado with 7 points off the Bruin bench. Lead is back to 3-point margin, 27-24 for the Bruins. Under 3 minutes left to go in the third. And that's going to be an offensive foul whistled against Fort Lee's Mark Ilya. He has picked up back-to-back fouls in the last 2 possessions on offense and defense. Fort Lee looking for their first win in the opening game in this Jack Riley Holiday Tournament since that 2022 season when they advanced to the play for the final against North Bergen. They have lost in the last 2 campaigns in their opening round. Last season, North Bergen went 1-2, and now an and one opportunity inside. As North Bergen, once again, it's Maldonado trying to wreak havoc here. He's taken over in this third quarter. He's got 6 points in the third quarter alone for the Bruins. Maldonado had 3 points at halftime. And he has become a huge focal point in this game. He's got 10 points for North Bergen. That was a 3rd consecutive foul against Ilya. He's got 3 fouls now for Fort Lee. Bridgman trailed by 6, losing the handle and turning it over once more. Camacho getting it down the other way, and again a little pushing and shoving going on. And an ensuing foul whistled against Fort Lee as the Bridgemen have started to lose their cool here this evening. They will call that a foul actually against North Bergen. So it's Jaden David picking up the foul. That will be his 3rd personal foul. The officials conferred with one another, and they said that when it was the tie-up, it was a push, a blatant push against David. So David picks up the foul, possession back over to Fort Lee. And another reach-in foul here against North Bergen, as the Bruins thought that they had the clean steal that would have produced a 2-on-none the other way. And this game has kind of gone down to a crawl now with the amount of fouls that have been piling up between both teams. More fouls than points. Feaster picked up the foul, his 2nd. 3rd team foul. North Bergen is aggressive in how they extend their defense. Fort Lee's got to play through it. Ilya, 3, top of the key. Mark Ilya knocks in his first made field goal. 30-27, cuts that deficit in half. It's a 3-point lead for North Bergen. Under 2 minutes left to go in the third. Rivero looks to answer. Straight away, no good. Ilya with a rebound. Abdel Sadie directing the traffic here for the Bridgemen. Hands it off. Ilya across the lane. There's contact and an offensive foul. And that is the 4th personal foul for Ilya of Fort Lee in this third quarter alone. 4 fouls, only 1 more foul left for Ilya in this game. The junior has picked up all 4 fouls in this third quarter, 3 of which have been by offensive foul variety. Fort Lee committing their 5th team foul, so it's going to be foul shots the rest of the way for North Bergen, leading by 3. An emotional, hard-fought contest here in our final game of day 1 of the Jack Riley Holiday Tournament. That air ball shot collected by Greenberg. Greenberg trying to go the distance the other way, gets his pocket picked. Now Greenberg trying to force the trap. North Bergen just bedeviling Fort Lee here today, forcing countless number of turnovers. Under a minute now left to go in the quarter. worked around to the near side. Perez. Maldonado getting it over to Feaster. Feaster top of the key to Rivera. Feaster, power dribble, inside. Lobbed off, down low to Camacho. He misfired on the shot in tight. And a loose ball tie-up, and it's going to be possession arrow. And it's going to be staying on that side of the floor with North Bergen. 34.5 seconds left to go here in the third. What a game. Whether it be a tournament final, county final, state final, this has really been enjoyable in terms of how hardly fought this game has been played between these two teams, throwing everything on the line. North Bergen 6-3 over the course of the last couple of seasons here at this tournament at Fort Lee. Again, the champions in 2022. Rivera, 7 points in this game for the leading scorer in the season for the Bruins. Here he is now. Sadie watching him. Under 20 seconds left to go in the quarter. Maldonado has been the factor. Up to Rivera. Here's Maldonado with 10 in the game. Got the step on his defender. Stripped as he was trying to go up with it. Loose ball rebound, and it's going to be a loose ball tie-up, and the arrow this time will favor Fort Lee and give possession back over to the Bridgemen with 5.4 seconds left to go. Here in the third quarter, 30-27 lead for North Bergen. Each team trying to move to 3-1 in the early portion of this season. Winner takes on Old Tappan in our second semifinal tomorrow. Greenberg down the floor the other way. Greenberg gets fouled on his way up. And Jacob Greenberg will once again make his way to the foul line. After that time, Anthony Di Domencio, the 6'3 senior big who came into this game off of the Bruin bench, did not stand his ground. And Greenberg has been aggressive all night long. He's been trying to take it right at the defense. That has led to a couple of fouls against him. Jacob playing with 3 fouls here for Fort Lee. As Greenberg missing on that foul shot. Greenberg now 2 of 5 from the foul line. 0.9 seconds left to go. Greenberg missing on a pair of foul shots, and that'll end the quarter. A 3-point lead for North Bergen as we head to the fourth in a hard-fought quarterfinal here at the 2025 Jack Riley Holiday Tournament. Turnovers, the name of the game here in this quarterfinal matchup between Fort Lee and North Bergen. Each team forcing a bevy of turnovers against their opponents. Who will make the winning plays here in the fourth quarter? As North Bergen will enjoy a 30-27 lead and start with possession to begin the fourth quarter on the road here at Fort Lee. The first home game of the season for the Bridgemen after being road warriors to begin the year. 3 straight on the road. Into the corner, there's the 3, no good by Feaster. Offensive rebound by North Bergen. That leads to Aiden Rivera's lined up 3, that is short. And now it's a foul whistled against Fort Lee. Jrht was called for the foul away from the ball and an offensive foul. Jrht gets called for his first personal of the game. So the official saw something away from the ball that led to that rebound attempt for Fort Lee. So Jrht gets called for the push. Possession continues here for North Bergen after missing on a couple of opportunities to start the fourth and try to widen their lead. Rivera takes Jrht off the dribble and lays it in on the baseline. So a costly foul there against Fort Lee leads to the eventual floater finish by Rivera. Aiden Rivera with 9 here for North Bergen. 32-27 lead for the Bruins. Again across the middle of the lane, and that's going to be an and one. A flop attempt inside by Maldonado. You could even hear right in front of us that he tried for good measure to try to sell that with yelling as he fell down. He was never stationary, and Jacob, who was a bull in a china shop, still was going to contend with going straight towards the rim. Greenberg gets the and one opportunity, now a chance at a three-point play. Jacob up to 10 points on the night here for Fort Lee. And Greenberg knocks down the foul shot. He's got 11. Lead is down to 2 here for North Bergen, 32-30. Been a fun one here inside East Gymnasium. Greenberg gambled and went for the steal. Getting it back up top. Around to the near side to Cameron Perez. Into the corner, another three, rattled in and out there for North Bergen. Fort Lee is fortunate that was halfway in. Now it's Greenberg. To the near side, watched by Perez. Greenberg trying to put his shoulder down. Here's a look from 3. Avazoglu, no good. David with the rebound. Outlet to the near side for Cameron Perez. Under 6.5 minutes left to go in regulation. What a game to end our first day of coverage here at Fort Lee High School. 32-30, North Bergen on top of Fort Lee. Perez tries to weave his way through the far side. He got contacted, no call. Ilya doesn't feel the pressure coming from behind. Another turnover produced by North Bergen. Rivera transition 3, no good. Ball was loose, another offensive rebound by the Bruins. Jaden David inside, he tried to throw it away. That leads to the breakout for Greenberg. Greenberg gets fouled on his way up by Cameron Perez. That'll send Jacob Greenberg to the line with a chance to potentially tie this game at 32-all with 5:45 left to go here in the fourth. What end-to-end action in this one between these two teams. So many different turnovers. North Bergen just hustling their way into opportunities here, and Greenberg again has struggled at times here at the foul line. He's 3 of 8 from the charity stripe here today. Second foul shot also is short. Back-to-back misses keeps this a 32-30 lead for North Bergen. Rivera up and under move, no good. Elia did a good job of maintaining his ground without fouling. Again, he's playing with 4 personal fouls. Ehrlich will stretch out his defense and get his hand caught in the cookie jar, trying to steal it away from Aiden Rivera. Instead, he picks up the personal foul. For Jake Ehrlich, that'll be his first personal, team second. Each team have committed 2 fouls apiece. Camacho around the horn, Rivera, and Rivera gets called for the travel. So a little hesitancy for some of the North Bergen shooters because it hasn't been falling here tonight. Have led to also some turnovers between Feaster and Rivera. They're trying to do a little too much before establishing the dribble. Greenberg, watched by Maldonado. Greenberg spinning his way right through the heart of the lane, and once again, Jacob Greenberg gets fouled, and he'll head to the foul line. Greenberg has one thing on his mind whenever he's dribbling. It's just how to get to the lane and how to get to the rim and draw the contact. That is the fourth personal foul against Jaden David. And Jacob Greenberg knocks down the first foul shot. Greenberg 4 of 6 from the foul line here tonight. He could hit the next one and level the score at 32 all in this rock fight game. Greenberg will misfire though. And then an over-the-back foul against Fort Lee, and if it's against Ilya, that's his 5th personal foul. Instead, it's going to be against Sadie. And for Sadie, that will be his 2nd. Each team now 3 fouls apiece. We might have a lot of foul shots awaiting us here to close out this one. 5 minutes left to go in regulation, and that's going to be another traveling call against Aiden Rivera. Turnover gives the possession back over to Fort Lee with 4:59 remaining here in the 4th. Winner takes on Old Japan. Loser faces Passaic in a consolation round game tomorrow. Sadie backs it out. Greenberg picks up the dribble, looks for an outlet. Ilya has it. And a timeout is given to Coach Josh Ford, who wants to talk things over. 4:44 left to go here in the 4th. It's a nail-biter. 32-31. North Bergen on top of Fort Lee. As you're watching the action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel, courtesy of our great sponsors, Fort Lee PBA, Cavazos Fairway Market, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Daru Electric, Bridgman Basketball Camp, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me, Connect One Bank, Bergen Black Sox, Senator Builders, UCS Strength and Speed, the Collective Salon, and the Fort Lee Education Association. Fort Lee trying to rally here and pull out a come-from-behind victory at home. Again, they have not won their opening game of this tournament over the course of the last 2 seasons. They lost to Passaic a season ago and then had a heartbreaking loss in their final game against Riverdale after they had been leading by double digits in the 4th quarter. Evazoglu in the near side corner. Off the back rim, no good. Rebounded by Camacho. So they ran that play for Evazoglu to try to find a range from the near side corner in 3. Could not come away with it. Fort Lee has only knocked down 3 threes in this entire game. Maldonado skipping it over. Inside, Rivera has been turning it over at a big rate here. Greenberg turns it right back over himself, trying to go behind the back. Here's Perez in the open floor and quickly scoots his way down the floor and lays it high off the glass and good. Cameron Perez, the senior, with a clutch basket there. 4 points in the game for him. 34-31. Lead is back to a 3-point margin. Ilya looking for the outlet, gets it over to Greenberg. Greenberg across the lane, turnaround shot, and that rattled halfway down and out. Rebounded by North Bergen. Three and a half minutes left to go. Rivera sidestepping a defender. Camacho, again, not even looking at the rim. Just waits to give it back to Rivera. Sadie watching him. Here's Camacho. As North Bergen will be patient and take a little air out of the basketball. Camacho, nearly double teamed in the corner. Got it away just in time. Rivera. And now a timeout is being taken by North Bergen with 3 minutes exactly remaining here in the ball game. 34-31 lead, a 3-point advantage for the Bruins, trying to punch their ticket to play Ultapan in the semifinals tomorrow here at 4:30 at East Gym. (34-31) lead for North Bergen. North Bergen has scored only 4 points here in the fourth quarter. But the same can be said for Fort Lee, only 4 points as well. This has been a war of attrition between these two sides. Not a lot of points, a lot of turnovers, a lot of fouls, and a lot of emotion on display here. It's been a well-played game, though. 34-31. Double team trying to come to Rivera. Rivera going right to the rim. He missed it, but then the ensuing offensive rebound and a foul whistled against Fort Lee after Camacho had garnered possession inside the lane. And a turnover force. And the ball is loose right out in front of us as players sprawl down in full support and hustle, and we admire them for that. Two different players for North Bergen going full extension right in front of us. 34-31. Still remains the deficit for Fort Lee as Greenberg will inbound it in front of us. Davis Oglu. Ehrlich never reestablished himself coming off of the baseline. He was out of bounds and never got set. And when the handoff came to him, it's a turnover. Another turnover for Fort Lee. I don't keep count of turnovers in the game, but I would have to imagine it's close to 20 turnovers here tonight for the Bridgemen. And that one is deflected out of bounds. Rivera almost had another turnover of his own. Fort Lee has committed 4 team fouls here in the fourth quarter. They have no more fouls to give. Every subsequent foul is going to be foul shots the rest of regulation for North Bergen. North Bergen has 1 more foul to give. They've committed 3. Aiden Rivera with 9 points in the game, 2 of which have come here in the fourth quarter. North Bergen playing a little bit of keep away right now. Fort Lee being dared to come out and try to force a turnover. Here's Maldonado getting away. Here's Rivera. Again, there is no shot clock in New Jersey high school basketball, so North Bergen can just run out the remaining seconds if Fort Lee doesn't do something. And now Fort Lee will commit the foul. That'll preserve some time. 1:54 left to go in regulation, but it sends the Bruins to the foul line to shoot 2, and Aiden Rivera, who's a 75% foul shooter on the season, will toe the stripe. These are his first 2 foul shot attempts of tonight's game. As Rivera sinks the first foul shot. 10-point performance now for the senior. And he sinks a pair. Clutch foul shooting here when it matters the most. 36-31 lead for North Bergen. Evazoglu handing it off. Ehrlich, who's been quiet since that 5-point performance in the first quarter. That is the last foul to give for North Bergen. Foul went against Feaster, his third. Evazoglu across the lane. Here's Ilya for three. Got it! A gigantic three. Cans right in front of this near side wing. Mark Ilya with his second made three of the game. He's up to 7 points in this contest. And Fort Lee back to within two with 1:38 left to go in regulation. 36-34. Ilya with 7 points off of the Bridgman bench. He's been the best shooter from the outside for Fort Lee here today. He's got 2 of the team's 4 made threes. North Bergen, you simply want to get into the hands of your general on the floor in Aiden Rivera. A great foul shooter. Someone that you want to make the right decisions here. Fort Lee, you got to go with, as quickly as you can, any type of turnovers that you could force. You get a trap and get the ball back. We'd like to thank again all of our proud sponsors as shown here on your screen. And thank everybody for their support of these games here in the 2025 Jack Riley Holiday Tournament. We will be broadcasting every game in this event on tape-delayed purposes for free here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow for day 2 coverage, and then day 3 will come a couple days later. It'll be on December 30th that we'll have the final day, as you can't have tournament last 3 consecutive days in a row. So now Aiden Rivera. Again, they're going to try to get it into his hands as much as possible. Here's Rivera getting away from the defense. Rivera going right to the rim, and he misses on the layup. Here comes Greenberg down the floor the other way for Fort Lee. Tries a tough, contorted shot, and he misses the rim himself. But it's turned over. Evazoglu over to Greenberg in the corner. Fort Lee down by 2 in no rush here. Ilya had an opportunity across the lane. Pass up on the shot. Here's Greenberg right to the rim. Contact, no call. Perez comes out of the pack with it. Perez in the open floor. Gets it over to Feaster. No reach in yet for the foul. Fort Lee trying to play it out, and now the foul administered there by John Evazoglu. And that'll send North Bergen back to the foul line to shoot 2 with 54.5 seconds left to go in the fourth. Fort Lee had a couple of opportunities to tie this game up, and they could not get the shot to go on the near side. Daniel Maldonado, been a force in the second half for North Bergen, sinks that foul shot. He's 3 of 4 at the line. Fort Lee, as a reminder, last season lost 2 games in this tournament by a combined 3 points. They trail by 3 right now. Second foul shot also good by Maldonado. He's got 12. Maldonado, the leading scorer for North Bergen, off the bench in this game. 38-34. Fort Lee down by 4 as we're getting in to the clutch time here. Bridgman trying to avoid back-to-back losses on the season. Again, if Fort Lee were to lose, they would take on Passaic tomorrow in a consolation game. If the Bridgmen come from behind in dramatic fashion and win, they would take on Old Tapan in a semifinal tomorrow at 4:30. First game tomorrow tips off at noon in our first consolation game. (38-34), 54.5 seconds left to go. Again, no fouls to give for either team. Sadie gets the inbound back to Greenberg. Greenberg into the corner, Ehrlich. Ehrlich powers his way across the lane, but he throws it away. Rivera anticipated that one and picks it off. And now Ehrlich is forced to foul, and that'll send Aiden Rivera to the line to try to close this one out. 38.4 seconds left to go. Turnovers, 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 haunting the Bridgemen here in this first tournament game. And Rivera will sink the foul shot. He's 3 for 3 at the line. Up to 12 points in this game. The lead is stretched to 5. Second foul shot also good for Aiden. 13 points in this game for Rivera. Long heave down the floor. Broken up, Ilya has it. Ilya passes up on the three-point look. Here's Ehrlich, just launched it up, try to draw the contact. No whistle coming. Rivera gets fouled. And once again, he is headed to the foul line. He has 6 points in this fourth quarter. He is closing this game out on his own. And he has a chance to grow his point total yet again here today. 28.6 seconds left to go as it looks like North Bergen is going to be victorious and will advance to play in the semifinals tomorrow at 4:30 against Northern Valley Oltapan. The 2024 champs taking on the 2022 champs in this Jack Riley Holiday Tournament final. That is the 5th personal foul for Mark Ilya of Fort Lee, as he is fouled out of this game with 7 points here tonight. Bridgemen had their opportunities late, but they could not make the buckets when they matter the most. Credit the defense of North Bergen for having a part to play in that. That is the first miss at the foul line in this game now for Aiden Rivera. North Bergen has been better at the foul line when they've gotten there. Only 2 misses at the foul line this entire game. 8 of 10. Now 9 of 11 of foul shooting for North Bergen. The same cannot be said for Fort Lee on the other side. 41-34. Closing into the final 20 seconds. Greenberg goes high off the glass and good. He's got 14 for Fort Lee. Feaster getting it down the floor to Perez. Here's Rivera again. Final 10 seconds. Rivera will just dribble it around and dribble out the remaining time in this one. As North Bergen will move to 3-1 on the season. 41-36 your final score, as they hand Fort Lee their 3rd consecutive first-round loss here in the Jack Riley Holiday Tournament. North Bergen again will go to 3-1 on the season. They'll be taking on Oltapan in the second semifinal tomorrow, while Fort Lee falls to 2-2 on the season, and they will have a matchup awaiting them with Passaic in our second consolation game. That'll be at 1:30 on Sunday. So that'll do it for day 1 coverage of the 2025 Jack Riley Holiday Tournament. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our coverage here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. For everybody here from East Gymnasium, I'm Dan Long saying so long, and we'll see you for day 2 coverage tomorrow.